Hello, everyone from East, West, North, and South, faraway land on all over the globe. Welcome again to Amaka Bekeé Talk Show, your amiable host here with our returning guest, always a participant, ready to shoot, ready to go. It's Tobi Adeyemo. Tobi, please, can you meet our viewers?
Thank you, viewers. My name is Tobi Adeyemo, and I'm always happy to be here. I'm happy to be here. Happy to be on the show with Amaka Bekeé once again. Thank you, guys.
Thank you very much. We're always glad to have you back. We love your opinion, your insights, your foresight. We learn a lot from you every now and again, and it's glad to have you. And for this show, we're just having like a chit chat for the year ending, or should I say year ended 2022. Wow, boy, was it an exciting and interesting year. It was just so interesting. There was no month without its drama. It's like
it was an eventful year.
Full of events. It was such an eventful
ups and downs, rights and turns, twists and turns. Wow. A lot of positives and negatives.
Right.
Lessons learned, advantages taken, forgone alternatives, a lot of things in this year.
A lot
Deaths, lives, births, rebirths, a lot of things, like any other year,
I don't know if it was like any other year or just something about it. It has this balance of crazy and calm.
That's true.
Personally, though, like it was so eventful and crazy for me. At the same time, it gave me so much too. I learned a lot, I gained a lot, I experienced a lot. So I am so thankful for all the wonderful experiences as well as the challenging ones. But it was quite a year that has such a balance for me. So, but for you, what is your personal takeout? Like, what is one thing personally that the year was for you, or either it brought you or you experienced?
It was a very positive year for me. Very, very positive and pivotal. It started a lot of things for me. 2022, I wouldn't forget it in a while, because it was like a pivot, that started, turned some certain things around along the journey of my life. So I would say it was a positive year.
Wow.
Along with a lot of other things.
Right.
But in all, I would say it was a good year. It was a positive year.
Talking about it being a pivotal year for you, what exactly are you transmitting that to? Can you give us one instance?
Life, family, business, career.
A
lot of things like that, like I was discussing with you, I had that actually started like a year and a half ago. But I transitioned from a kind of job, a line of job, into another one that was a lot more inclined to my goals at this time, to my vision and what I was trying to do. So I transitioned into a new career, so to say.
Isn't that just wonderful?
Yeah, it was really wonderful.
I'm so happy for you. I'm glad.
Thank you.
It was a positive year for me. And for me too, it was a very productive year for me, especially in career paths. And I met a lot of people. I have experienced a lot of things, and especially a lot of good people. Because there are times when you meet people and you just don't want to recount that experience because it didn't give you nothing. It took more from you than it gave. But I got to meet people who made a good deposit in my life, and I will always be thankful for these people. And and there were some challenging experiences too. Like there were things that were eye-opening and were very unexpected. And sometimes I shrug when I think about it. But again, it's also sometimes you stay in a bubble that you don't even know other things other things exist, right? Especially the negatives. and you get to experience one and you're like, wow, so this actually happens in real life, but it does. And I did experience a tacky moment with a friend, with a really good friend, like a dear friend. And I could not believe my ears, my eyes, like it was so shocking. But you see, it's one of those experiences that actually teach you more, because at the end of the day, now that I know that people can talk like this or make
And
me feel
against
like
you.
this, yeah, it just gets me more, even more prepared for such kind of, not looking forward to it anyways, but
Yeah, absolutely. Like
such kind of
another thing
events.
that's very similar to that, very similar to
All
what you were
right.
very similar to what you were talking about is
Wow.
like people I learned mostly to stop struggling. That's another thing I got out of 2022.
Ooh.
I'm always struggling with God. I'm always struggling with men. I'm always struggling to prove a point. I'm always struggling to make things work. For a moment, if you just step back, I'm always struggling with time. I learned not to struggle anymore. Like, there's nothing above time in this
So in
world.
terms of
Give
time,
it time. Yeah.
okay, give it time. Okay.
Yep. Give it
Okay,
time.
that's what, okay.
The worst thing that you're thinking about now, what is the worst thing? Like they told you something and it's bothering you so much, like you're having a heart attack over it.
Yeah.
Your blood pressure is above the roof, and whatever that is, if only you can see the expiry date of that thing.
Yeah.
Now, would you still worry about it?
No.
So why are you worrying now? Just give it time. So they tell me that this so thing happens so where ordinarily I would jump up and I would start shaking and worrying and
Oh, no.
not anymore.
Not anymore.
Not anymore. What will be would certainly be. That doesn't take, action, the part of action out of it. What I'm supposed to do about
You
things, I'll
got it
still
done
do.
still.
But once you've done your best, once you put in as much effort as you can, and you know, things don't still happen as you wanted,
Yeah.
why don't you sometimes step back and just observe?
Yeah.
Perhaps you might even learn a lot from observing than struggling to force a particular action or a decision on outcome out of a situation. Most of us do that a lot of times. We're struggling so hard. This is what we wanted, and that's not what life is pushing at you. But we keep on struggling with it.
Yeah.
Struggling mentally, physically, psychologically, socially, mentally, every areas of our life we're struggling so intensely, to make things work in a certain way. I mean, if it doesn't work in that way, it's not the end of the world.
Right.
Life will still be life.
That is just, that's as simple as it is, because trust me, I consider myself a warrior. And the times that I worried so much about something and I stressed so much about it, the outcome always ended up to be good. So, and then when it turns out good, I always ask myself, like, why did you get to worry so much?
That's right.
This? It's like you don't really have so much control over an outcome sometimes, not all the time. But yeah, like you said, you just do your bits and leave the rest to God. And you don't get to stress about everything, especially trying to, would I say, micromanage its outcome. Thanks for sharing that.
Absolutely.
So in general, what are your thoughts about the culture shifts of 2022? Typically the things that made the headline socially, culturally, if you have anyone that stood out to you that like was so provocative, you could not stop thinking about it or talking about it.
Well, like we said, 2022 had a lot of things, a lot of mixes in the middle of it. But I'll say the ones that stood out the most, there's several faces to these things, politically, socially, religiously, academics, in every facet of life. Politically, I'll say the US elections was one that stood out. politically, and you'll be
Yeah.
surprised, that, historically they'll say a sitting administration doesn't do well in the midterms, but there is a shift, there's a change in the way people are thinking all over the world, especially the millennials. So if you have a business and you're trying to reach out to people, if you're not considering people below 20, you're doing it wrong.
Right.
If you're starting to reach out for a particular course, despite the fact that the course does not include them,
yeah,
you have to really, really consider the millennials, and they're not all below 20. Or some of them 30s, in their 30s, or in their mid 20s.
I think they're Gen Z and is it Gen X or
Gen X,
Y
and
or Gen Z?
they have like three varieties of them in that circle.
Gen X, Y,
So
Z.
so the political sphere, a particular section of the political sphere, disregarded this population and paid dearly for it. That's politics. We're not really into politics, but we can learn from everything that happens to us. And
right,
just looking at that, speaks volumes about who are these people, what do they stand for? How do they think? They are definitely, if you're someone that came in the 70s, 80s, 90s, you're not one of those that I'm talking about, and you have to pay extra attention to understand. To understand this set of people. The way they talk, the way they behave, what they expect from you is way different. Like you might be talking, let's go make money, let's go do business, let's do career, let's do family. All of that, things that made sense in the 80s, 70s, and 90s. They don't mean nothing to them.
That's where the culture shifts is at.
Yeah, the culture shift that you were talking about. They just want to have fun, man. Majority of them are looking at.
I would want to have fun at that age too.
Absolutely.
Like, what did you want to do in your teens and
your
20s?
life?
Like, come on.
I totally agree with it. Even outside of your teens, like you find most people in their 40s today or in their 50s. They are too serious with life. They're living life, going to work, coming back home, going to work, coming back home, and doing it all over again. No space for fun, no space for life. They're going to wake up one morning and they're 70 years old, or maybe 80. That's when they'll realize they have never lived.
That's true.
Our generation, don't overdo things as far as getting too serious or taking care of your family. Of course, do all that, but leave in the middle of it. Live your life, do things that make you happy. We don't do that. But this new generation, they don't miss one bit of it. Like they'll be 100% out.
They owe themselves every little bit of excitement, and
that's right.
And I think even though this is very common for that age, I find that they are very well, not only independent, but risk-taking too.
That's right.
They are so brave. I believe that I was brave at that age. The only thing is the opportunities that exist today did not exist back in the day. And sometimes I look at these kids, I cry, and I say, where did my 20s go? My teenage days or my early 20s. And of course, there were things that I could have experienced and enjoyed, but I did not. And not that they weren't existing, they were existing those days. And I was sort of one way or the other surrounded by them, but I did not, because I was so inhibited. And I know I'm not alone. Like,
that's right.
We're so inhibited that we could not open up or loosen up and explore, enjoy. So now that fear is abated. I do not see that fear. I do not see kids worried about what their parents think or anybody thought, or if they were bringing shame to the family, if they were reputable, or if the family had some reputation. They do not care.
They don't give a damn.
That was my inhibition.
Right,
Carried my family on my shoulder, every single thought of my life.
Well, that kind of comes with, it has the positive side too. That burden that, majority of the people in that age carried, kind of framed what you are today, the decisions you make
I don't know
and
if I like
how
it
you
very
make
much,
them.
but okay.
Like for instance, I have a soccer team where there are different ages of people that play. There are people in their 20s, people in their 30s, 40s, 50s. There's even a 60-something-year-old, two 67-something-year-old guys in that team.
Oh.
It's just a indoor relaxation kind of, soccer that we play every Wednesdays and Thursdays. But where am I going to? I noticed that the guys in their 20s, they're the heart of the team. They're the ones who know how to play the most. They can play well, but they have a set of consistent problems, consistent inconsistencies. They always come late. That's one of it. Even when you call them,
they have all the time in the world.
And you notice that the guys above 40, they never come late. It's one of the things that is just built inside of them.
Right.
And if you're going somewhere at 8 o'clock, you must have been thinking about it when you wake up in the morning.
Yeah.
Today I do this 12 hours. You plan your day, and then you leave home. If it's gonna take you 30 minutes to get there, you leave home at least 40, 45 minutes before so that you can get there in time.
Right.
But these guys, they always consistently have the same excuse about why they were late.
Yeah, because they stayed on their phone till 3 a.m.
Till 9, and then they sleep till 11 a.m. It's just not the usual. And I'm not saying that's good or bad, It's just not the way things used to be. And
we have to admit that the culture has shifted.
A switch shifted.
And it did not pay a lot of dividend to the older folks. But the younger folks, I don't know what they're going to do with their world. You know what I mean? Like when they turn 30, when they come up to their 30s.
Or when they start to have kids, when they start to reproduce another generation.
Listen, some of them would have kids by accident.
You don't even want to think about that.
A lot of them do not want to have kids. I don't know if you've been talking to those people.
That's right.
These kids, folks they don't want to be parents.
And that's why I was saying that there are advantages to the burden that your generation carried. There are advantages to cultural advantages that came along with it. Some scientific.
We stayed true to expectations, but some of those what I said discipline did not favor us in the end.
Well, so for me, there were more positives than negatives, I'll say. Or what do you think?
We don't know yet. I mean, depends on where you're looking at it from. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, depends on, sometimes I look at the positive, but then sometimes I look at the loss. And then I apologize to you, but when I think about the losses, it makes me cry, because there are things that you lose, you never get back.
That's right.
Time is one of those things. You can never get back time. That's why, like, what's tying into what you said earlier, that a lot of people are not even living, they're just existing. They don't take out time to like do something that they enjoy or that they may enjoy. Probably they don't even know if they would enjoy it or not, but they haven't done it either, right? So all they do, they wake up, they go to work, they take care of family, they take care of bills, they take care of responsibility. And soon enough, they realize, oh, I'm 67. Where did my 20, 30 years go?
But look at those things that you counted. Wake up, take care of family, take care of bills, take care of all of that. Majority, and I'm not saying all, majority of people in that age grade that we're talking about can't even take care of none of that. No, they can't take care of anybody else apart from themselves.
They are looking forward to that though. Like,
they don't want to pay bills.
That's none of their business.
They don't want to start a business.
Don't make it their business.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So very correct. There's a total shift in ideologies.
It is.
They'll be like, I mean, I talk to them a lot. They'll be like, why do I have to work like regular work? Why do I have to wake up in the morning and do a 9 to 5 or
when you can be a TikTok influencer?
Thank you. And you ask 100 of them, what do you want to become? They'll be like, I want to talk on a basketball show. They don't want to be the basketball.
Because that comes with a lot of discipline.
A lot of discipline and work. They don't want, majority of them talk about, okay, what else can I do apart from? Because they say, okay, I want to be a basketballer. I have to wake up 3 a.m. and work out till 6. I have to work out between 12 and 3. I have to come back to the court.
It's not even about the workout. Aren't you passionate about being on the court, in the field? Like, come on.
Yeah, they love the glamour part where the cameras are there. And,
I'll be more than excited to be in the court and walk my butt off to be there.
But there's a lot that goes in. It's the same. There's a lot of discipline. If they say come at 3, you have to be there at 3.
I mean, I don't mind the discipline. It comes with a lot of money. So
right.
think of the discipline.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. You're thinking that way because of what made you. Those things that we call a burden, whatever name we give to it, that happened in your time. That's why you can think I'll go through anything to get to where I'm going to get that status of the basketball player, place in the NBA or something like that. But these guys, they want the basketball status, but not with what comes with it. No.
They have a choice.
Yeah.
Anyways, quickly before we wrap up this segment, I have to add that these days, you being a parent, and I'm talking to people in their 30s, you being a parent is just so you have somebody that will look after you in your aging days. Not because you're trying to invest in someone who will look after you financially. I mean, looking after you, probably being there emotionally or being available in presence is the greatest. But because kids these days, they're not working hard to look after their parents. So don't try to make them the investment that will look after you in your retirement days. Just to put
they're not even gonna
because that ain't their goal.
You're going to the elderly home.
Oh yeah.
They're gonna dump you in.
They have to take care of themselves.
Oh yeah. Nobody cares about parents. So
anyways, we'll be back with more on this year-end wrap-up and roundup.